All right, class, here we are, week 2. Let's go ahead and create a program here. I'm going to go ahead and call this program, I'm going to call palindrome. You can call anything you want, but I'm just going to call palindrome because I'm going to show you a few tips here for the palindrome program. So click finish and let's go ahead. There was a question in the forum, lab forum, about how are we going to validate that 00000 and 01010 are palindrome numbers, okay? How are we going to do this? Well, that's something that we need to deal with. We need to talk about. So let me write some code here and show you how we can do this. Okay, let me minimize the screen here so we can go back, and we can always go back by clicking this. All right, so here we are. I went ahead and wrote some code. I wrote a method called getNumber. All getNumber does is validate, retrieve an integer, a valid numeric integer value. Okay, and I'm doing here, I'm passing a custom message saying enter a number. And here's my method. It returns an integer. It's a public static because I'm calling from the void main method, and I'm passing my message enter a number. And I have a few variables declared here, an integer num, a num string, and a boolean variable called invalid equal to true. The reason I do this is because I don't have a number yet, so invalid is true. I don't have a numeric value yet. So I'm going to say, while I don't have a valid numeric value, while the input is invalid, I want to keep looping here until I get a valid numeric value. But also, I can exit out of this loop early if I cancel my action, all right? So all I'm doing here is saying if my num string, my input value is not equal to null, go ahead and pass that to parse into an integer, all right? And then now my invalid flag is going to be set to false because if this is successful, this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then we are out of this loop and we can return our number. Now, if this parsing here gives us an error, something happened, we are trying to parse a letter, a character, a known numeric value, the catch exception is going to happen here, this catch block. And all it does is going to say invalid number entered, try again. You let us try again because, of course, invalid never changed its state. So we're going to stay here in this loop until we can fall into this here or this here, okay? So if I cancel my action, if I don't enter any number and just press the cancel button, this is what's going to happen, okay? Invalid state is going to be set to false. We're going to go back in a loop. We're going to get out and we're going to return nothing, a 0, right? Actually, we were going to return something, a 0, which is our default value. All right. So this is the loop. So let's see what happens here when we enter a 0, 0, 0. What is it going to be displayed? So we run this, and I'm going to enter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, number entered is a 0. As an integer, 5 zeros is just a 0 as an integer, okay? As a string, that's another story. All right, so let's try, before I do my little test here, let me run this again and press the cancel so you can see what happens. Action was canceled and the number entered was 0. See? Let me run again and just say okay. Invalid number, please try again. It lets us try again. Something like that. All right? All right, so I have a little test here that I've done earlier. So here's my little testing section. What you want to do is, instead of comparing a string with the double equal sign like this, like you do with integers, okay, you don't use the double equal sign when dealing with strings. And the reason is because it will not work. So if I enter 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, and I say okay, then this is never going to be fired. This block here is never going to happen because the double equal sign is not to be used with strings. That's all I can tell you. Okay? What you need to do here is use the function called equals, a blank. I got a blank here. All right, equals an object, and the object we're trying to compare is a string of 5 digits that start with a 0. Okay? So if I run, I need to use the dot equals, the equals method. All right, now, is this going to be fired? Yeah, it's going to happen. So if I enter 01010, here we go. As a string, yes, I do have 5 digits, but as an integer, I don't have that leading 0. All right, it's a 4-digit number. So what I'm trying to point out here is that if you try to enter like 5 digits 0, okay, and then check for palindrome, is it a palindrome? Yes, it is a palindrome number, right? Because you reverse is 000. But it is not a palindrome integer. It's a palindrome string, but not an integer. Because if you're working with palindrome, you have to make sure it is a palindrome integer and a palindrome string. For this assignment, we wanted to work with integers, right? So if I say 00000, hey, it is a 5-digit string, a 5-character string, better saying, but it is not a 5-digit number. All right? So at what level do you want to check for palindrome? You want to check for palindrome at the integer level, not at the string level. So be careful with this, okay?